UFC Fight Night, Aljamain Sterling versus Yusuf Zalal was last night, and I'm going to go through the entire card, recap my picks, and what happened in each fight from the bottom all the way to top. Um, this card was pretty bad, all things considered. This was not a great card. It had a lot of low moments. And I'm not even just saying that it was a bad card because I did absolutely awful on picks for a majority of this card. Um, but this it just was not great. It was an Apex card that honestly, like there were some fun fights in it. Not really any great finishes, other than like one. And then one of the most entertaining fights of the night was actually Sterling Zalal. There was a couple that we'll get to later, but yeah, this card was not amazing. We'll start off with the very beginning. I'm gonna go through it pretty quickly, but Talita Alencar versus Julia Palastri. I picked Talita Alencar to win this fight because I just figured she was going to be more, she was going to be fresher. She was going to be able to do just a little bit more in a little bit moments. And yeah, she won a 29-28 decision where it was close. It could have gone either way, but Talita Alencar just had better grappling in moments. And yeah, beat Julia Palastri. I thought it was pretty clear, but it was a close fight. It was competitive. It wasn't like dominant or anything. And yeah, Toledo Alencar wins. There's not really much to say. Um, I got that one right. Then we move up to Max Griffin versus Victor Valenzuela. This fight, Victor Valenzuela won. It was close-ish, but Victor Valenzuela clearly won it. Max Griffin didn't do enough in majority of the rounds. I don't really remember this fight because it was just kind of happening. There was nothing really amazing. It was a fun-ish fight. It was entertaining enough, but there was just nothing that stood out. And yeah, Victor Valenzuela was just landing bigger, harder shots. Max Griffin was reacting more to those. And yeah, Victor Valenzuela got his time on the mic. He won. It was a decent enough performance. It just against Max Griffin, it's not too standout. Um, but Victor Valenzuela gets the win, gets the time on the mic. Um, Talks about his grandmother passing, which was really nice to see. I'm glad he got the win after hearing about that. And yeah, Victor Valenzuela wins. I got that one right. I started off the card pretty good, but then there's definitely a turn. Francis Marshall versus Lucas Brennan. I'm glad I stuck with my gut and went with Francis Marshall because Lucas Brennan wasn't able to do anything. Francis Marshall is really technically good. For this unranked level of the lightweight division, he was getting like spear takedowns. He was taking him down, holding him down. Brennan wasn't able to do anything. Um, yeah, Brennan's best chance was to get to the back, and he just was never going to get there. Um, yeah, I'm really glad I stuck with my gut and went with Francis Marshall, but he just put on a great performance over Lucas Brennan and kind of just shut him down the entire time and was landing harder shots, was doing more damage. Lucas Brennan really didn't have any great moments. It was 60-20 on total strikes. And yeah, Lucas Brennan had no real moments of success. Francis Marshall looked really good out there. Um, did what he needed to do, what he was supposed to do. And yeah, can't wait to see Francis Marshall again because every time he fights, it seems to be somewhat entertaining, even if there is a lot of wrestling in it. Then we move up to Jafel Fieldhow versus Cody Durden. You know what? I'm just gonna accept it at this point that anytime Cody Durden ever fights, I'm never gonna get 100% on that card because I pick Cody Durden to lose, he wins. I pick him to win, he loses. That's just the way it is. Jafel Fieldhow got shut down by Cody Durden. Cody Durden unked his way through it, like I said. His wrestling worked amazing in this fight. 91-50 total strikes. He did what he needed to do so well. Out positioned, out landed, out scrambled, everything on Jafel Fieldhow. Fieldhow couldn't really land any great shots. There's nothing that stood out from Fieldhow in this entire fight. Durden just smushed him, beat him, landed better strikes, everything. On 5 days' notice, great job for Cody Durden, I guess, but I never get him right. Ever. Never ever get him right. It's crazy that I don't think since I've started doing picks that I've gotten a Cody Durden fight right. But yeah, he beats Jafal Fieldhow in a big upset. He was plus 450 underdog. I had a feeling he was gonna win, but I couldn't go against Jafal Fieldhow, and it wouldn't have mattered if I would have picked Cody Durden to win. He would have probably lost. But Then we move up to Mayra Bueno Silva versus Michelle Montague. This fight was rough. Michelle Montague has nothing on the feet at all. She cannot cause damage to another human being. That's saying a lot considering she was standing across from Mayra Bueno Silva and she couldn't deal damage. She got she did great on the ground, great with takedowns. It says she has 108 total strikes landed. Majority of those were on the ground. Um, Mayra Bueno Silva looked good on the feet enough, but you're against Michelle Montague, who was literally unable to cause any damage on the feet. Um, and yeah, Michelle Montague just was kind of hoping to get to the ground every time and would get to the ground because it's Mayra Bueno Silva. Um, and yeah, Michelle Montague clearly won over Bueno Silva. Cut Bueno Silva at this point. She's like 5 in a row losses. Um, she's not a great fighter. Michelle Montague, that was rough. If she can't get somebody down, she's in for a rude awakening. Um, and yeah, she clearly lost this fight, and or she clearly won this fight. Mayra Bueno Silva, we knew she was gonna lose. That's as simple as it was. But way closer than it needed to be because Michelle Montague, you need to get better and stronger, faster on the feet. Really. Then we move up to Jackson McVeigh versus Cedric Dumas. I got this one wrong. Jackson McVeigh finishes, submits Cedric Dumas in the first round, and drops him, gets to a submission, and just cinches it up, finishes him. Yeah, Cedric Dumas really didn't do much in this fight. Rough. I mean, I'm kind of glad he lost, but yeah, Jackson McVeigh wins. Looked good out there. Got a performance of the night, which is huge for him because I don't think has he won in the UFC yet. But that's $100,000 bonus. That's great for him. And yeah, beat Cedric Dumas. Looked really good out there. There's not really anything crazy to say. It's a Cedric Dumas fight and it's a Jackson McVeigh fight. Jackson McVeigh looks good. Looks dangerous. It's a better win for Zachary Reese now, even with how close it was. It's a better win for Zachary Reese that Jackson McVeigh looked that good against Cedric Dumas and just broke him and finished him. So yeah, Cedric Dumas just cinches up the choke. Nothing else to say on this fight either. Um, then we move up to Rodolfo Vieira versus Eric McConico. I had picked Rodolfo Vieira to win this fight, and he almost did in the first round. He drops Eric McConico bad, gets him into an armbar, and then proceeds to do nothing the rest of the fight. Could not get a takedown for his life. Could not hurt McConico again for his life. I was afraid of McConico's power and his striking in this matchup, but I thought that Vieira would be able to get him down, would be more aggressive with it. And he was more aggressive with it than he was in the Bo Nickel fight, but he's just awful at getting takedowns, I guess, because he just could not do it. Was struggling so hard at getting takedowns. And I mean, Rodolfo Vieira is a good fighter, like jiu-jitsu wise, but he just could not get Eric McConico down when he needed to, and that was the downfall of this fight. That's why I picked him, was because I figured he'd be able to get some takedowns. He just couldn't. Eric McConico landed great shots on the feet, kept it up on the feet, and yeah, he shot 15 takedowns, only got 4 of them. When you're a jiu-jitsu guy, that's kind of one of the main things you need to be able to do is get people to the ground, not just shoot in on bad takedowns and then get them stuffed and then get an 8-piece after because you freaking got put up against the fence and McConico's teeing off on you. But yeah, Rodolfo Vieira almost had it done in the first round and then really did nothing the majority of the fight. And that's kind of a theme for a lot of the people I picked on this fight and this card, is that they would do one thing good and then proceed not to do it again the entire fight. And yeah, Eric McConico wins, and so my prelim record was 4-3. That gets much worse going through the rest of the card because then we move up to Marcus Buchecha versus Ryan Spann. Ryan Spann with a crazy slime out of Marcus Buchecha. Again, another jiu-jitsu guy could not get a takedown to save his life. I was literally coin flipping between this in my head during the predictions video, and I should have gone with Ryan Spann. I just had a weird feeling that Marcus Buchecha would get Ryan Spann down and land some good ground and pound. He did not. Another jiu-jitsu guy just unable to get it to the ground. 1 for 7 on takedowns, and Ryan Spann just needed to land one good combo, and Marcus Buchecha was out of there. It's really hard to pick for jiu-jitsu guys from now on because I mean, honestly, you can't get a take. You only get one takedown when you are a great jiu-jitsu competitor. Like, I guess you need to work on wrestling more, but I think there would be some trips or something that you got. Um, Ryan Spann, yeah, great from Ryan Spann. Great knockout performance of the night, deserved. Um, was great from him, and yeah, he slimes out Buchecha. Um, got that one wrong. Not much else really to say other than Buchecha got it to the ground, was scrambling pretty good, and then lost it, and then had no success after that moment. And Ryan Spann landed the great shot. Then we move to Montel Jackson versus Raoni Barcelos. This was actually a somewhat good and competitive fight. Was not like it wasn't awful. Montel Jackson almost finishes Raoni Barcelos in the first round, and I was shaken. I was nervous from that because Raoni Barcelos getting dropped, I was like, oh no, he's done. Peyton Talbot was just a fluke win. The Cody Garbrandt win, it's Cody Garbrandt. Ricky Simone, but Howney survives, gets in there, gets some great trips in, get some great shots, straight shots. Montel Jackson was lightning quick, but again, this was a thing that happened with a lot of the fighters in this fight, in this card. You land a good shot and then you proceed to not be able to land it or even really try to land it again. Howney landing good shots, was landing to the body a little bit, landing good kicks to the body. Um, and was getting in, causing damage, blitzing in, causing clinches and pushing him up against the cage, getting him down to the ground, getting to the back every round at the end, and almost getting a choke in. Um, it was great from Howney to be able to survive what he took on in the first round. Um, and then eventually, like I think the second round was pretty close. Third round was Howney's round, and Howney just kept on him, kept going, and won this fight. Is going to be a ranked bantamweight. He should be. Montel Jackson was 14 in the world. Howney Barcelos should be 14 or 15 now. And that was a great win from Howney. I picked him because I expected him to do exactly that. I didn't expect him to get dropped that bad immediately, but great for him surviving it. It was a split decision. It was a close decision. Montel could have won this fight, but I think Howney rightfully got it because of the grappling and almost finishing him at the end of every single round. Especially was it the second round? He had a deep one-armed rear naked choke. And yeah, almost finishing him. Great job by Howney Barcelos, and yeah, he won the fight. It was a close fight, competitive fight, somewhat fun fight, but he gets the win, and I got that one right. Then we move up to one that I got wrong, which was given fight of the night. Pretty much, I would say deserved it. This or the main event deserved it. But Davy Grant versus Adrian Luna Martinetti. This was exactly what I was worried about would happen with Martinetti. Did happen. The leg kicks worked so well immediately for Davy Grant. I believe I said that in my prediction video that leg kicks could decide this, and they really did early on. And then Davy Grant was just quick, hitting him with great shots, would trip him when he needs to, was just doing really good of catching stuff, blocking it, landing better shots. Martinetti looked good going into the third round, but he just didn't have enough pop in his shots. He was more volume punching. If he had been volume punching the way he had in the third round, the rest of the fight, he probably would have won this, but he just started way too slow. Davy Grant looked good early on, was landing great low kicks, was making Martinetti switch stances, and that really dug the grave of Luna Martinetti. And yeah, Davy Grant did really good to stifle Martinetti and beat on him, land good shots, land damaging strikes, and yeah, outstruck him way crazy. Yeah, just Martinetti just got outclassed by Unk Davy Grant, and yeah, y'all must have forgot. I definitely forgot, and Davy Grant just put on a great job against Luna Martinetti. Very fun fight though, not the greatest ever, but it was a quality fight on this card, and there were some really fun moments. But yeah, Davy Grant wins fight of the night. over Luna Martinetti, the debuting from the Contender Series. And then we move up to Rafa Garcia versus Alexander Hernandez. Okay, this fight I was furious. This one and the next fight I was furious during because I picked Alexander Hernandez to win this fight, and there were Rafa Garcia has that style where he's very plotty, will kind of rush you, will wait for you. Alexander Hernandez moving on the outside really good, would get caught every now and then. But it was once around, Alexander Hernandez would land a great combo or a great 1-2 blitzed in and or mix it up with a hook straight, whatever, and then would proceed to not attempt that combo again the entire rest of the fight or round. Like, you land something good, set it up again. Trick them into thinking you're setting it up again and try something good or actually try it again. Like, he was landing decent body kicks. He was doing decent, but you had moments and he just didn't try enough. And then when he would be pushing back against Rafa Garcia, he was landing good. When he would push Rafa Garcia on the back foot, he would land good. But then he would just proceed to not push him back. And then as the fight went on, when he would push him back, he would not throw shots. Like, Rafa Garcia played a very smart, played a very good fight. Hernandez just did not go hard enough into this fight to actually finish Rafa Garcia. Did not try and actually beat him. In the third round, when he needed a finish, he did not actually actively hunt for it. He just plotted around, stayed the same game plan that Garcia wanted, and yeah, Hernandez loses this fight pretty clearly. Got beat on most of the fight, and he had like 4 or 5 good moments once around at least, and would then proceed to not do anything else different in the entire rest of the fight. And so yeah, Rafa Garcia wins that one. I got another one wrong. And we move up to the co-main event: Norma Dumont versus Jocelyn Edwards. This fight had me fuming. I was so angry because I knew both of them thought they were winning. Both of them thought they were doing enough. Both of them thought it was convincing that they were both winning. This came down to the last exchange of the third round. There was literally, like, the last minute of the third round decided this fight because Norma Dumont closely won the first round. It's debatable. The second round was close as well. The third round was close until the last minute where Jocelyn Edwards put it on and won it. But Norma Dumont was dancing around the outside like she was winning and like she was landing hard shots when Jocelyn Edwards would clock her with a 3-piece and then Norma would land only 2. And then Jocelyn Edwards would get hit by like a 2-piece and then only throw 1. Like, they were not trying to up each other. It seemed like they were trying to stay one step behind each other the entire fight. It was a crazy fight to watch. Because watching Norma Dumont, you saw on her face, she thought, I'm winning this fight. I'm landing good shots. I'm being smart here. When it's like, no, you need to cause damage or this round is not going to be clear. In the third round, Jocelyn Edwards, I think something snapped in her where she was like, oh, I can just hit Norma Dumont. She is not being a unbelievably hard target to hit. I can just hit her. I can just kick her. It works when I throw something. Like, both of these people, when they were throwing, were landing. They just wouldn't throw. It was, if Norma Dumont threw 10% more shots, she would have won this fight. Because she would have probably landed majority of them and won this fight. And then Norma Dumont at the end of the fight, this could have been a 30-27 to Jocelyn Edwards, and I think that's what they ended up giving it. But it could have been 29-28 either. But Norma Dumont at the end was raising her hand like, oh my god, I won this clearly. And then was so shocked that she didn't. I believed Jocelyn Edwards won this. It was close, but Jocelyn Edwards clearly won it. This was a rough fight to watch because it just felt like both of them were looking at it like, I've got this in the bag after landing one combination at the beginning of the round, then thus not trying to actually hurt the other the rest of the fight. Meanwhile, they're both just underdoing each other. It was such a frustrating fight to watch. Jocelyn Edwards clearly wins via the dominant, or not dominant, but clear third round, and then a close first and second. And yeah, it such a disappointing fight to watch. But at least the main event didn't disappoint. Yeah, the main event, Aljamain Sterling versus Yusuf Zalal. Aljamain Sterling puts on a great fight over Yusuf Zalal, beats Yusuf Zalal very clearly. Probably 4 rounds to 1, I think I would say, with a 10-8, and I believe it was the fourth, if the fourth round was the one. 220 shots, most of them from the back. Yeah. Round 4 was great from Aljo. Round 3 was close. No, was round 3 the close one? Yeah, round 3 was close. Round 2 was clearly Aljo. Round 1 was close. Round 5 was clearly Aljo. But this fight, Aljo just did what he needed to do. And the thing is, I will say, you could tell Aljo was much more comfortable with the feet than I was expecting him. I thought if he was going to try and stand on the feet, he was not going to be able to do good against the wall. He did great. He landed great shots, landed great hooks, landed great overhands. Um, Obviously not the most damaging or staggering shots, but he was landing. The fourth round he had Zalal hurt. Very early on he just rushed straight out there and landed a great combo. This was Zalal's first 5 round fight, and Aljo knew that and used that in this fight. And was putting on damage. Zalal and Aljo had a close first round where I believe Aljo could have probably gotten it, but Zalal could have too. Second round though, Aljo came out, did classic Aljo, got the takedowns, controlled, looked good, landed good damage on the back because usually in an Aljo fight you're like, oh my god, he's just sitting there. But Aljo got the back a bunch in this fight, and Aljo is dangerous on the back. He was landing great shots around the guard, and when he was trying to get into submission, he was getting close, and then he would cause damage then too. And yeah, it was great from Aljo. Great luck, great performance. And yeah, the takedowns worked for him. He was in a little bit of a guillotine in the third round, but it wasn't gonna finish. Aljo's too crafty for that. And yeah, Zalal just got outdone by a former world champion and one of the best fighters in the world. I mean, I still believe it that Aljo is one of the best fighters in the world. The only losses he's had are to Sean O'Malley, who's a sniper, and then to Movsar Evloev in a fight that I believe he should have won. He's still one of the best fighters in the world. If he fought for the world title next, I would be upset because Movsar deserves it. But I would get it. If Aljo ends up on the next card that Movsar fights Volk and Movsar pulls out, Aljo should be the number one person to step in for that fight. Simple as that. Um, and yeah, it was actually a somewhat entertaining fight. Like this fight was not a classic Aljo boring snooze fest. Aljo, when he was on the feet, was landing good. Was landing really good. When he was on the back, he was causing damage. He was going for stuff. They were transitioning. It was fun. This was a entertaining fight. This was probably the most this was probably the biggest smile I had on my face while watching any of the fights that last night because it was just entertaining, and it was like interesting. It was an interesting, entertaining fight, and that's all it really needed to be. And it was a great performance by Aljo. Did exactly what I kind of hoped he would. Did better than I actually hoped he would because I kind of expected Aljo to go out there, get the takedowns, and sit on it. Zalal kind of stall it out, but do a good performance. Aljo landed good on the feet. He looked decent. Do I think that he loses to Volk? Yeah, because he had such a close fight with Movsar, and I think Movsar gets beat pretty badly by Volk. But him versus Volk is I'm gonna be honest. I'm more intrigued by um Aljo versus Volk than I am for Movsar versus Volk. I want to see Movsar versus Volk because that's what's deserved. But Aljo is much more of an interesting fight than the Movsar fight, and honestly would be better for Volk's legacy probably. But yeah, Aljamain Sterling, great performance. Definitely my highlight of the night was his performance. I've definitely warmed up on Aljo since the Mavzar fight. when I wanted him to win that fight. I thought he won that fight. He got kind of robbed, even though it was incredibly close. Then the Ortega fight was a good performance, and then him not being able to fight, but definitely clearly wanting to fight. I think him versus Zalal was interesting. Um, and yeah, it. I'm glad Aljo got the win. Um, so yeah, that was pretty much it. This card was a little rough. I went, what was it? I think, 6, and 6 to 7, 6 out of 13. Right. Again, I think that's the same as what I did last week. This card was rough, but next weekend we got a banger. Even though it's at like 4 a.m. is the prelims, 7 is the main event. Um, or 7 is the main card. But hey, banger card. Australia, Perth, JDM versus Carlos Prates. Cannot wait. Um, yeah, Aljo versus Lal. It's over. It's done. It's in the books. And we move on to May, which is going to be a pretty nice month of fights with JDM Prates, then Chimaev versus Strickland and Vantera on that card, and then the Arnold Allen versus Malcazal Costa on the same night as the Netflix Diaz, Carano, Perry, Ngannou, all them, Rousey, that whole card. So, yeah, cannot wait for May, but Sterling's all done. Great job by Aljamain Sterling. And yeah, thank you for watching. Have a good night, and